What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? Welcome to the Fearless Investing Podcast. I am so excited, so elated that one of my coaches is going to be joining us today in the Fearless Investing Podcast. Grab your pens, grab your papers. Time to let go some fears. Share this stream with anyone that is struggling on what the vision is going to be for 2024. How am I going to really jump into it and accomplish these goals, because their fears are really stopping them from achieving the greatness that you know that they should be achieving. Share this with them. Let's join in. Let's get crunk. Get ready for your questions. Get ready to do it. All right. Let's freaking go.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Listen, it's Keith Everett, Real Estate Diddy. I'm right here at the Simple Sexy Flipping Conference. I gave 10 ways on how to find off-market properties. If you're somebody who's trying to learn how to use the bank, find private money lenders, and know how you can fund the properties, you need to be here.
I would definitely recommend this event to anybody, especially if you're looking to get started in this business, because sometimes you just don't know where to go, and sometimes you don't know how to get started, and sometimes it could be the reverse. You got the motivation, but you don't have the education, or you have the education, you don't have the motivation. So sometimes it's being in certain rooms with certain people that'll kind of uplift you or inspire you or get you moving, get you thinking. But more importantly, this is the kind of room you want to be in, especially if you're a newbie.
What's up? What's up? Hey, Ryan. Or should I say,
How
are
are
we
you?
Ryan or Rowdy right now? Which one are we?
Rep the brand. Always rep the brand. Enough said.
What's
Would
up,
you would
Rowdy?
you would you would you go up to Deion Sanders and not call him prime? Nope.
I probably would. See,
You would
you
though.
you know I
Where's
go against
Antonio?
the grain.
Where's Antonio when you need him?
So Antonio is being daddy daycare. So
For him.
you'll see him throughout the live stream. He's being daddy daycare today.
Okay. All right. Good for him.
All four of the kiddos, well, no, three of the kiddos are at home. I brought one with me to the office because she didn't want to stay home and be the babysitter. So she
Fair.
said,
Fair.
let's start, Rowdy, with
Hmm?
telling me who is Rowdy.
Who's Roddy? Roddy is the guy. He's the dog that you put in the middle of a big project, like a big fire, right? A big mess. And he's gonna clean that shit up and get it done right. Roddy's the guy that's gonna get the respect of the inmates, right? Get the respect of the field and the soldiers. That's what it is. At the end of the day, flipping houses is not easy. I don't care who teaches it and how sunshine and rainbows they try to make it feel. It's not. It's a business. It's a job, right? It takes work. It takes effort. It takes thought. It takes practice. It takes, more importantly, mistakes. So Roddy's the kind of guy that thick skin, if that makes sense, like really, really thick skin. And that just comes from all the failures. And I would, as I've gotten older in my career, right? 22 years into this, I would venture to say that a lot of my thick skin comes from dealing with personalities and knowing when to push buttons and when not to. And then more importantly, not giving a fuck when to push a button and when to. And that's an important piece of the pie that I think a lot of people are scared of. Everybody they don't want to rock the boat and they want to keep friendly faces and they want to do everything right. But the reality is, if you got 5 people in a transaction or an equation in a rehab and one person's not doing it right, that means you're not all doing it right. And you're not going to be able to get that person back without respect, and that's where I come in. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, flat out live this morning, I got I've been dealing with burying my uncle, who's been a tremendous mentor for me since I was 13 years old. It was my first construction job, and he just passed away. So we literally buried him this morning. I'm upstairs in my actually master bed suite, and everybody on my family's on the first floor eating and chilling. The reason why I share that is because I started thinking about that question: is who's Rotty? What is Rotty becoming, and where's Rotty going? And the reality is, this morning Rotty bit somebody's fucking head off or didn't give a fuck, because that's kind of what needs to happen in the construction side. And so hear me out. Got a guy who decides that because I'm distracted, he thinks I'm distracted. I watch everything. He thought I was distracted. He wants to pull some shit, and he wants to go into our system and try to get a $5,000 refund for construction management that we're doing. You don't know who he is, so it's not anybody that we know. But he's a high level player out of the West Coast. He does a lot of other businesses, but he's trying to pull a fast one. He thought he could pull a fast one. He didn't. So what I ended up doing is I called my attorney in his state, and I put a lien on his house. And I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play games. And the reality is, that's who Rotty is. Rotty's going to do the right thing, but Rotty's going to fuck you up because I know the game better than you do from a construction standpoint. I don't do that often. That might be the second time I've done that in 22 years. But he tried a game with me at the wrong place, at the wrong time, at the wrong moment. And I know that game very well. So I got on the phone real quick, put that shit out, and I said, we're going to fucking skip the letter of intent, lean it. And now he wants to get 5Gs from me. I'm going to take 25 back from him. So what I told him on the phone personally this morning, I texted him. I said, I'm on the way into a funeral. And I said, you should have had the balls to call me this week to discuss this. Since you didn't and you want to play games, I will take 10 times more. And then if you want to pay me off, go ahead. I can give two shits what happens to this guy's house. He's just one of thousands, right? That's the idea. That's who Rotty is. That's on the bad side. The other side of Rotty is the guy that's going to defend you and be the guy that's going to be like, listen, man, I want you to win, like I've done for you and Antonio and everybody else around me who really, really knows my personality is. I'm here to help. But at the same time, I'm that guy that you don't want to mess with in this business because we earn that right. And we earn that right to respect because we do it right and we do it big. And at the end of the day, we teach it. So when you teach this consistently, it really is second nature. It's like DNA in your body. This is who you are. It's an identity. So Roddy's that guy that you don't want to fuck with him, but you definitely want him to deal with everybody you don't want to deal with. And that's who Rotty really is.
Absolutely.
Is that a good synopsis?
That you know what, that was the perfect synopsis. I would say if I was to add on to it, it's
I got a big heart though. I
was just to say it's like a sugar and spice, because you can be spicy, but then you're as sweet as pie because you want to make sure that whoever you're working with wins. You want to make sure that they have everything that they need and they know everything that they should know, because this could bite them in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a sugar and spice. Antonio's chiming in the chat. He said he wanted to first off give his condolences for you and your family, because you guys have definitely been in our prayers. I kind of had a feeling today was the day because you didn't say anything.
The wake was last night and the funeral was this morning. And I couldn't, these are weird. I mean, and this is so, not to get off on a tangent, but in my family, I'm the firstborn nephew and the firstborn grandson, and there's a hierarchy to this thing of ours. And I'll put it to you that way. So I'm tasked with the funeral arrangements. I'm tasked with the cemetery. I'm tasked with paying for all of it. I'm tasked with the after festivities meal, if you will, and setting everything up alongside my father, who's his brother, right? So, and I used to work for this guy. So there's a lot that went into that focus, and now I'm in charge of his estate, which I didn't ask for, I don't even want to be, and I don't have time for. And remember, he still owns a business for 42 years that now I've got to deal with, that I don't want to deal with. He's got properties that he owns that now are basically mine, and I've got to clean up and rehab. So there's just so much going on in the recent, literally since the 15th till yesterday. I was like, dude, like, this is insane what we got going on. But like, it's just too much going on, man. So you make your moves, you do what you got to do, and so I appreciate the love and whatever. But tomorrow's another day. Will be fine.
I would definitely say, I know it's a lot going on, but who better than you to deal with it? I know you're probably the only one in your family that has the experience that you have, that have the connects that you have, and it could probably bust through some stuff real quick versus trying to
Yeah,
figure it out. I think you can put the
yeah.
right people in place.
We've already trashed out 2 of his houses, so we're already on a roll. I mean, I got dumpsters
See,
being swapped out as we speak. So I mean, it's a lot, but it's like, it's I definitely need to wake up tomorrow and get back to my life and everything going on there.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, tell me. I know your uncle is kind of the guy who put you in the forefront. But did you, what type of lifestyle, what type of family environment did Rowdy grow up in? Was it a mother and a father? Was it just your mother, just your father?
Mhm.
Like, what did that
No,
bring
my
up?
parents my parents are still married. I'm 42. They've been married 43 years. So my mother had me at 17. My dad was 20. They've been together ever since. Um,
That's a long time.
the house I grew up in was full of love, but it was also full of fights. You got a young couple with a baby and getting married, and because I was born before they're married, so they're trying to figure all that out. I mean, it's a good story, to be honest with you. There's no fucking silver spoon. I'll tell you that shit. We grew up in the hood out here in Chicago, and to be honest with you, I mean, I'm gonna show you like personally. This is my master suite. I've got these are 14-foot ceilings in the middle. I didn't come from any of this shit. At the end of the day, I mean, I'm blessed, but I had to earn it. Um, it's a privilege right now that I've got 50 family members on the first floor below me. I can fucking hear the house shaking. I'm the first to do it all. I'm the first to have a multi-million dollar business. I'm the first to have a 45 square, 100 square foot home. I'm the first to be able to just be like, what do you need and how can I help? And I took care of the whole funeral in one shot. I'm like, here, just run the card. That's $18,500. People don't realize how expensive it is to bury motherfuckers these days.
Hmm.
But I said that's my uncle, and I'm gonna honor that. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, it's the growing up it was a lot of honor, and like I said, being the first grandson and the first nephew, there was a lot of responsibilities that were bestowed upon me that I did not know until I was about 4, 5, 6, and then I started seeing the way things were working because my dad is one of 10 siblings, which means I've got like 8 uncles and 2 aunts. So I was raised by all dudes, and my mom has 2 brothers. So at the end of the day, I was raised by all men. And these men are not soft men, right? They're just like me. I'm just
I'm
like them.
sure.
And you lose your innocence a little bit really early on, not in a negative way, but you learn to grow up real fast. Um, and you just I started picking up on hustling and making money early because that's what they did. If that's what I said. But with that said, no, it was full of love. It was full of growing up fast. My dad worked 3 jobs so that they can get us out of the area. He moved us to one of the best neighborhoods in the area of the north suburbs of Chicago, um, which I wasn't familiar with. So I got the best of both worlds, right? So being raised in a certain area, I got all the street education, and I got all the street education from my uncles, and then going to one of the best high schools in the nation at the time. That was a culture shock for me because I'm like fucking hustling these kids for all their shit. And and all my crew's doing the same thing. I'm like, we got kegs in the back of like old Blazers and the shit. And this is the late '90s, and we're charging $5 a couple. I mean, we treated high school like it was college. I'm like, fuck college, we're already doing it. But you just like I said, we live fast. We had a good childhood. I can't complain about it because I would not be the man sitting here right now if none of that happened. If I experienced none of that. My first fight, I got into a fight at 13, and I beat the shit out of this kid for saying a racist comment. And I never met the kid, didn't know the kid, but I handled the kid. My dad, that was the first time I was arrested. I went to, they booked me. And I remember the police officer's like, this is the first time I've never experienced anything like this. So he's like, you got to make a phone call home. He's like, you got to call either your mom or your dad. I said, I'm not fucking calling my mom. She's 100% Puerto Rican. We call him dad. So I always remember like, I was like, I feared my mother. I didn't fear my dad. So I was like, fuck that. We're calling dad. I called dad. He goes, what'd you do? I said, this is what happened. He's like, all right, I'll come get you. He came and got me. And then he's like, we're gonna minimize this to your mom. And I was like, that my man, right? I agree. Let's do that. So I get home. My mom already knew the whole fucking story. She smacked shit out of me. She's like, pow, go to your fucking room. I said, damn, all right. So I got in some trouble, and then about a month later, we got the simple suit. The other kid's dad wanted us to pay the medical bills. I put his whole like I smashed his whole lip, so all his teeth came through his lips. So we needed surgery, and I was like, whatever. So that's the irony. You guys can go eat. You don't need me. No, go eat. You don't need me. I got it. Go eat. You good? I'm on a call. I'm totally okay. So that's my dad, by the way, that I'm talking to. He's laughing. He said, "I heard you." That's me talking to my dad. That's how I talk to my dad. That's the love we have. I'm fine. Go eat. Um, but no, that's how it is. Being raised is like there's just a mutual respect, no matter how old you were. My dad and I have a huge respect for each other. But no, I mean, like I said, my first job was working for my uncle who passed, and I didn't want to work for him. He was ruthless. He was mean. He was hard. He was the boss of the family, and I knew that it was rough. And every single day I went to work, it was ruthless. He didn't let me do anything in the shop. I couldn't talk to the customers. I couldn't do nothing right. Every time I'd fuck something up, he's like, go cut the lawn or go plant some flowers or go wash some windows. And he would always do it when the kids were like on the school bus passing by because his shop was across from the high school. So all the kids got to see me like cutting grass and shit. And to them, they're like, what's fucking Ryan doing out there? And it was humiliating, but it was all part of the process. So all of it, every single ounce of it was supposed to go down the way it went down.
What was your biggest fear when you had to start doing construction on your own? Like, what was your biggest fear? Because you had hella training.
I didn't have any fears. That's the funny thing. I get this question. I've had this question for like probably the past decade. I didn't fear shit because I didn't care. I started doing this business in my early 20s. What the fuck do I care in my early 20s? I want to make some money. I wanted to get women. I wanted to fucking get fast cars and party and go to clubs. Like that was the mentality of a 21, 22-year-old. Let's be real. So I had no
Mhm.
fears. I had no fears. I think about it all the time. My kids were born when I was 33. I'm 42. And my business was already past 10 years. And I was thinking, man, there are so many people who are just getting married, having their first child, who are terrified to venture out alone because they're used to the security of a 9 to 5, which I respect. But I'm sitting there going, I'm in a different position. I decided to go do some crazy shit when I was young, and it worked, and it's working. Then you have your ups and downs. It's business. Like we always have our ups and downs. But for the most part, 22 years in business, that's fucking nuts. My uncle did 42 years. I'm literally half of everything he's done. It's incredible. He's been my mentor. So it's like I said, it's literally crazy that I'm in this position here right now, having this conversation with you, answering these types of questions with everything that's just gone on in the recent 24 hours, if you will, or recent 3 weeks. So kind of funny how life's coming full circle right now live, actually.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If
But no, I didn't have any fears. I was too immature to have fears.
what are some fears you thought you should have had? Like hindsight being 2020, what
Shit,
should you
managing money. I should have learned how to manage money. Um, so many things now, right? Like managing money, the art of negotiation, the art of the sale, managing people's personalities, leadership. That you can't be knocking on everybody's fucking door saying, "Where's my money?" This is This is a different business. So it's just almost like humanizing the experience is something that I think young entrepreneurs, young and old, really aren't accustomed to. Is the idea of understanding the humility that it takes to really be in this business, and the amount of people that you're going to cross with, like the amount of people you're going to do business with, and the amount of people you're going to impact, affect, join, combat, the whole nine, and just being able to understand that for every argument or disagreement you have with one person, there's 100 other people praising you, and understanding how to deal with that is really that's part of what makes your your skin thick, right? Is being able to say, okay, you can come fucking try and bite my ass, but these motherfuckers love me over here, so we good. And just being able to understand that at the end of the day, when you turn your phone off, you can shut everything off. The longer you keep your phone on, it's like social. People that are addicted to social, you have the power to turn that off, right? People that like to watch the news, you have the power to turn that off. So I do that now. I just turn everything off. I don't deal with it.
absolutely. What trainings or mentorships have you paid for to help you with like any of those things that you said you should have figured out? So like the managing money, the mindset, like what did you invest in that really helped you get over things that you didn't even know you were going to have issues with?
I think great question. I've actually never been asked that question. Go figure. I've been on a million podcasts. I think at the end of the day, one of my biggest attributes to success that I believe is my ability to listen. I listen. I got a big fucking mouth, but I actually listen before I say what I got to say. I actually listen thoroughly before I share a thought or an idea. And that's because I'm actually very thoughtful. I'm a thoughtful human being. So meaning like not about being kind. I'm thoughtful or like I'll take a moment to think about why something happened or what's the process behind that? What's the method? What are you thinking? Or why did that happen? Why did that mistake happen? Why did this money issue come up? Why did this stop work order come up? Why is my client upset? Why is my student upset? Why is my mom upset? Whatever. I'm just thoughtful and I'll take the time to hear people out. And I've always thought of myself as being, I always try to put myself in other people's shoes. And as long as you're able to do that, you'll always remain in a calm state of mind to deal with what needs to be dealt with. And again, that comes with tenure. That comes with dealing with a lot of people, you know? And at the same token, like I shared earlier, it's also being mentally and verbally violent when you need to be, right? Because I don't come from Wall Street. I come from the street. Wall Street needs me. I don't need them, right? So the funny thing is people don't realize where the money's coming from, right? Everybody's getting it from Wall Street. All the hard money lenders, all the private lenders, where do your money come from? It's fake money. It's not even yours. We're managing money. That's what I'm saying. So when you realize, and I've been in these rooms with Blackstones and the Invitation Homes, the highest executives, I sit in a room, I'm still me 100%. Because I don't give a fuck where they come from. I don't care if they're Ivy League. That doesn't bother me because at the end of the day, they need me more than I need them. And hear me out. Reason being is, like Tyler Perry said, I've said this before, because I'm the bridge to a world they don't want to fucking participate in.
Right.
I'm a bridge to a world where they're racist too, but they want to use everybody. I'm a bridge to the world that they don't fucking like and would never have in their fucking home. And I know that, but I'm their bridge because I can speak their language and I can speak our language. So they go through me to deal with, like I said, I'll deal with the inmates. I'll deal with the soldiers on the field. I'll deal with the guys you don't want to deal with because I can get their respect all day long. That's not hard. I don't treat them disrespectfully. I just try to give them a system and a process and say, well, this is how we're going to make money. You fucking deviate from that, you're not going to make money. Not my problem.
Simple.
But having that mentality of and that confidence to understand that I can deal with both sides of the fence. A is not for everybody. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's also just it puts a lot of confidence in you where you're like, listen, you created a name and a brand where people just trust it. They don't know how it's going to get done, but they know it's going to get done. You know, they don't want to know how it's going to get done. They just want it done. And it was just my job to put together that process and system in which it could be refined and kind of modified maybe annually, maybe quarterly, maybe every 5 years. But the reality is dealing in construction is very, very difficult. And I was always able to be me because that's where I came from anyway. So it was just easy for me to be in a room and say, what do you want to do? And they're like, well, we want to, flip 35 homes this month. Cool. How do you want to do it? Who's paying? When do we get paid? How does it work? And, just understanding how they did scheduling, how they did Gantt charting, how they did project management. I learned it all from them indirectly to answer the original question. Did I have mentors early on? No. Did I take training programs early on? No. I actually learned from my biggest clients first, which were the hedge funds. You got to understand something. Being in a room with these guys, when you see them at events, they're all shake your hand. Hey, nice to see you. Good to see you. Hey, blah, 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 blah. We're going to do this, that, and the other. You get in a room with them, they're just like me. Go fuck yourself. We ain't doing that shit. Really? Cool. Well, guess what? My team ain't going to fucking move then. Call me when you're ready. That's how those combos actually happen in a real board meeting, right? Do you think Walt Disney, you think the CEO of Walt Disney is a fucking pleasure to have in class? No. He's a pleasure to the world because his image is Disney. He brings joy and enjoyment to the world. Get him in a fucking office. He's going to tell you, no, we're not paying for that fucking shit. It's a waste of fucking money. And I don't give a shit about that demographic. He'll tell you that. That's big business. And as long as you understand that, that's where I learn, right? I don't really take courses. I haven't taken any, and when I say like the courses like you might take, right? I haven't found anybody that, I have friends at all of them. I haven't found anybody that I'm like, I can really, really learn something from you. I actually learn a lot more from them when we have these one-on-one conversations. Because I already have a question that I want to ask them. I don't need to buy your $50,000 program. If I know I have one question that's going to give me what I kind of need, and I'd rather have your friendship where there's no money involved. Because if I have your friendship with no money involved, it's authentic. And this is coming from me. And I'm not knocking anybody's program. I sold my program for over a decade. I'm not knocking it. I consulted for over even longer than a decade. I'm not knocking that either. But what I've learned at my old age of 42 is that every new flip brings a new relationship. Every new relationship brings a new set of problems. Every new set of problems needs a new set of resolutions. Nothing's the same. Just like every flip you do, they're not the same. And
They're
I
not.
think that's where I'm always learning is every single person I encounter, I'm thoughtful enough to take my time with them because everybody's teaching me and they don't know it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you said something earlier that resonated with me, that I know that most of our students who are successful, most of our friends and speakers that are successful, they were able to see entrepreneurship from an arm's length distance.
Yeah,
In your
sure.
case, it was your uncle, to
Yeah,
where you didn't understand, okay, why is he on top of my back? Why does he do this? But I like the way he moved. I like the way he
yeah,
has this for his own. He is the man of the family. Everybody knows he's the man. So
yeah,
you have different, it's a different type of challenge
yeah.
to accomplish. Like, oh yeah, well, if he can do it, surely I can do it. But
I didn't think that at all. Actually, I took that for granted. As a teenager, I worked for him from 13 to like 20. I took that all for granted. I didn't really realize what I was actually being taught. I just saw him as a tyrant. I'm like, this motherfucker's he's hard, like he's mean. But it was actually when I stopped working for him and I started going to business for myself and trying to be that entrepreneur. I'm like, fuck, so this is kind of what he was meaning, and this is what he meant. And he said to look up for this shit. And then throughout my 20s, even though I had my business, I'd go back to the shop and help him with his when he needed something or a pickup because I realized it was in my 20s. It was after my tenure with him that I needed more of him.
mhm,
So I didn't realize it during the time period. I learned it afterwards. And that's when it was like I would go to the shop, pick up one of his vans, go to like one of his biggest vendors, like in 3 hours away, and pick up shit for him because he ended up losing his eye. He actually sliced it on glass and he lost his eyesight. That was probably 2005-ish. So he needed a lot of help. His life was bent on measuring. So I had to go help him over the years. I actually helped him out until about 3 years ago. I'd still help him out with whatever he needed. So it's kind of ironic, but I learned more after than during.
because you, like, I think it's just exactly like you said, because you take it for granted when you're in it. It's not
Mhm.
until you're out of it where you're like, dang, I guess I
Yeah.
am prepared for what I'm doing now because of what I saw.
I would think all the time, like even like when I had that text this morning, I was like, what would his name was Al. I said, what would Al do? I said, Al, tell him to go fuck himself tomorrow. And I said, well, I don't want to be like that because we have a lot of friends. And I was like, no, man, fuck him because once we started the whole construction management call center, I already know we're gonna make mistakes. I already know we made mistakes, and I know there'll be many
It's
more
a part of
mistakes.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. And I said, you know what? If I'm gonna try and battle every person who's got some issue with the call center, that all I'm doing is telling people I don't know what I'm doing. And I know what the fuck I'm doing. So I set the tone real quick. You're going to be the first to fire a missile. I'm going to be the first to blow your battleship up. Done.
What do you think are one to two challenges that you see a lot of new investors make when they're first starting out?
Dream big, but dream realistically. Okay.
Oh,
So
come on, elaborate.
because everybody's like, I want to make $1 million. I want financial freedom. I want to put my kids to college. Good. Yes. Think that. Believe that. You should. 100%. Not denying that at all. But you got to be realistic, right? Where did you come from? What kind of money do you have? How were you raised? Who's your support system? Be realistic. What kind of job are you working now? How much time do you have to dedicate to being an entrepreneur? Be realistic,
Be
right? Are
realistic.
you are you going to be the one that's going to just try to funnel all your money into one project? Be realistic. Should you learn something and actually hire a mentor or take a class or a program? Be realistic. Maybe you should. So I think the expectation of what you see on social media is 50% of your problem, right? My advice to everybody in this today, in this day and age for 2024 is put your phone down and think about your game plan. Stop watching what I do. Stop watching what Ashley does. Stop watching what Tonio does. Turn your fucking phone off. Figure out what you want to do. What does Stacy want to do? What does Sheila want to do? What does Victoria or Jenny or it doesn't matter what your name is. What does Billy want to do? What does Ryan want to do? What do you want to do? Don't worry about what I do. Right? Write down 3 things you would like to accomplish in 5 years. Then write down 3 more things you'd like to accomplish in 10 years and figure out who could help you get there fast.
Right.
All right, be realistic. How much money can you afford to get mentorship and training? Be realistic. If it's not much, it's not much. That's fine. Which is one of the biggest reasons why our training, like when it comes to the Rehab Depot, we used to charge tens of thousands for that shit. Dude, it's online. You could buy the shit for a couple $100 because at the end of the day, if Fortune Builders is charging you 50 grand, right? Exactly. Run your own race. 100%. 100%. That's exactly it. Stay in your fucking lane. That's my motto. Stay in your lane. My whole idea is if Fortune Builders and all these big programs, all these coaching programs are going to try to rip you for 20K, 25K, 30K, 50K, 75K for all these programs, you're already spending all that money to learn how to invest. And usually it's 1, 2, or 3 ways when there's like 50 ways to invest. Okay. The next thing you got to do is go to the Rehab Depot and pay another 50 fucking G's to learn construction. So you're
That's a
100
lot.
grand in before you even play. That's
You ain't
not
got no
fair.
money. Right.
That's not fair. I don't play that shit. So to me, I'm like, I can make my shit 100% affordable because I'm the add-on to what you need. Should you want to rehab, go here. That's it. So I don't need to nickel and dime everybody in the world because there's no point in being greedy. That's what I'm trying to say. And that also comes from understanding your place in the industry. I know we're at the
Mhm.
top, right? I know we earned it. I know we put our time in. And I don't give a fuck if anybody's got to say something about it. Tell me, I'm right here. Bottom line is we set the bar and we made it affordable. I don't need to charge people that much money anymore. We open up a call center to help people run their projects. That's my number one focus.
Sheesh. Absolutely.
I always got a lot of shit to say. I'm one of the people that is very, very loved in this industry. I'm also secretly hated because I got the mouth that nobody can challenge. Because I spit facts. I don't spit like theory. This isn't college. I'm giving you actual advice you can go do right here on your flip tomorrow. Right? I'm not saying, oh, practicality. We should think about this in 3 months. Fuck all that. Think about this in 3 minutes. Because in 3 minutes, you're gonna lose money to me.
And you are gonna lose money in them 3 minutes. So listen,
I'm
tell
telling
me
you.
this. Um, Antonio has a question, but we're gonna jump into Antonio's question next.
Go
Tell
right
me
ahead.
this. Why not just get a regular job? Like, why was entrepreneurship so important to you? Like, just get a regular job.
No, not gonna happen. I come from the Jordan era. I'm a Chi-Town boy. I went to the Berto Center. I watched that man practice. I got autographs from that man. I read every book. I watched every show. I watched every series on him. I met Rodman, Pippen, the whole from '93 on. I met all the Bulls that came in. And at the end of the day, they came at the right time, at least in my life, in my generation, which was if you're going to be great, you must act like it before you're great. Muhammad Ali said it too. I'm gonna show you how great I am. He wasn't even great then. But Tyson said it too. Like, when you look at all the greats, don't look at their fucking lives. Don't look at the mistakes they make. We're human. You give a guy like Mike Tyson $1 million. You think he's gonna fucking act right? Of course not. It's life. He's gonna adapt. Like I had to adapt. I wasn't prepared to make money. You're just not accustomed to these things. You're not groomed for these things. But I think at the end of the day, it's like you got to have the mentality that you're a fucking champion before you become a champion, and then stay there. And I think that there's very few people in this world that have that. I think when you look at like the Conor McGregors of the world, when you look at the Tysons, when you look at the Muhammad Ali's, when you look at the Jordans, Tiger Woods, I mean, we can probably name 100 people out of 100 billion people who have come before us, right? There's not that many people that are actually great. Think about it. How many heroes do you actually have? Maybe 1 or 2. That's not a lot. So when you look at that, I think some people are born with that. And some people are. I think some people are born with it. I think most are not born with it. I think it's and sometimes it's like how they talk about like Section 8 and they talk about like the lower class and the poor. When you keep them down, they have no options, right? If you don't give them options, and I'm not saying that the government and all that shit doesn't give the poor options, it gives them options. But if all you know is to go rob that liquor store,
That's all you're
that's
gonna
all
do.
that's all you're gonna do.
Mhm.
If all you know is to go fucking on Michigan Avenue in Chicago and start fucking carjacking people during the holidays, and you're 14 years old and don't even have a license, that's what you're gonna do. So I think the one thing you can always do is make sure that the people around you have the mindset that we're all fucking champions. That's it. If you're not around people that think they're champions, I'm not even talking about people that want to be great. I'm not talking about people who are motivated or ambitious. I'm talking about motherfuckers who will look at you and say, I'm a fucking champion. If you don't have that mentality, I don't even want to fucking talk to you because you're wasting my time. And that's where Jordan comes into my mind all the time is he was mean to his fucking teammates, but he loved them. He said, I wanted to win championships, but he wanted them to win too. So when you got that type of leadership, you're not supposed to be fucking loved when you're the top dog. If you're loved, you're doing it wrong.
Look, Yasmin over here, and I know I get on her nerves.
That's what I'm saying. Is like if you're in a position of authority and you've chosen that, like I want to be CEO, which means fucking jack shit anyway. I want to be the boss. Good. Get ready to deal with the shit that costs to be the boss, right? Because it's a lot more heavier than you think it ever
It's
will be. And the reality of that is like you need to understand how to stay on the pedestal as boss, but you also have to learn how to deal with all the people coming in and out your door, metaphorically. All the people coming in and out of your life, metaphorically. You have to think about all that. And to get to the top and remain at the top, you have to be hungry as fuck. You're never full, right? I'm never satisfied with the work I've completed. What I'm satisfied is the life I've given my family, but I'm not satisfied with the work I've completed because as long as I have ideas, that means I've got more work to do. The day I wake up, I'm like, I got nothing else to do. I failed because I know who I am and I know what I've done in this industry. I'm almost at a point now where it's expected that I continue growing this fucking brand. If I'm not, it's a disrespect to the entire industry because who the fuck's going to take the torch? I haven't met him yet or her. I'd love to. You don't think I'd love to chill? I would love to. But at the end of the day, and I've got a great team, nobody will ever do it better than I will. And that's okay. But I'll take my Pippins, right? I'll take my Rodmans because without that support team, I could never remain Jordan.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the mentality it takes for all your listeners.
Who are you listening to? Right. Who are you listening to?
So when you ask who's Rotty, there you go. I expect to win and I will find a way to win.
All right. Tell us a little bit more about your call center.
What do you want to
know? What does your call center do? Like, how can your call center help someone who is either investing in an out-of-state market, who's getting ready to expand their business and they don't have the infrastructure?
Ironically enough, when you and me and Tony were having lunch, remember like a year ago out in Bama, at that barbecue joint, and I was like, here's the idea, here's how it's going to work. We completely did it opposite. And that's trial and error. We realized, and we're still realizing all the different challenges that we're facing. I mean, this is going to be an ongoing thing. I launched this officially in about March of this year. On average, we're pushing about $150,000 through the call center a month, right? I didn't plan for that. We're already past million in gross. Well, millions in gross, plural. Didn't plan for that either. So now managing money has become a whole different fucking ballgame. And then I realized we would make more money if we rep the subs. So now we just charge flat 12% of every project, no matter how big the rehab is. We put together all budgets first and foremost. We no longer do stop work order rescue calls. We don't take any projects anymore that have started. That has become a fucking hellhole chaos for us, which is why I told the guy this morning, go fuck yourself, we're done. Right? You asked us to bail you out? Nah. And you're going to be mad at me because we couldn't? Deuces, bro. I'm good. So, like, I'm actually going to make that announcement. Like, wait till I relaunch, like, our branding and shit in January, because a lot of it is going to literally tell the industry, this is what we're going to do for you, and this is what we're not going to do for you. So we charge 12% of every budget. We put the budgets together. Our fee is already included in the spreadsheet. All you got to do as an investor, right, is send me my own jot form. Every investor can get it. I post it online almost every single fucking day. Use this form, send me a project. What do I mean by that? That means Ashley sends me a project and says, she fills it out. It's like 10, 12 questions about the asset that you want to take down and put under contract. Sends it over to us with some pictures and videos. We give you a ballpark. We'll text you back and say, Ashley, your budget you thought was 65, you're more like 72.5. Let us know if you lock it up. 2 hours later, like, we got it locked up, green light. We then take it into our call center and start putting together the scopes of work, getting the subs aligned. We call, we vet the subs, we contract the subs. They work for us. They work under our umbrella. You don't have to worry about no construction from this point on. We charge 12% of every single budget. That's why we're making the money that we're making as a company. But we're also, as project managers, construction managers, we really kind of skip project management. We're more like construction managers now. We're running almost every client we have all of their rehabs. Right? There's not one client that doesn't give us every rehab they have now. They just keep sending us the form. We lock it in because our budgets and our numbers are very, very factual. Like, I'll say, listen, in our form, we'll ask you what are you trying to buy? What's the acquisition cost? What do you think your rehab cost is going to be? It doesn't have to be accurate. It gives an idea because it's not about accuracy. If you say, hey, my budget is 50 grand, it kind of tells me where you think you want to be financially to make a return. So I'm like, cool. You think you bought it for, I'm just making up a number. You're trying to buy it for 99,000. And you think your rehab is going to be 50,000 and your ARV is like 258, pretty tight. I'll look at everything and say, hey, dude, there's no way that house needs like 85,000 and walk away. There's more value in using our call center when we tell you to walk away than just us taking projects. Because I'll tell you, no, dude, you need 30 grand more. And here's why. Lesson learned, send me the next one. So now they're looking at deals differently. We get the next 30 fucking houses. So we have like literally 10 clients, 10 investors that we work with. And between them, we have like 285 open rehabs between 10 investors because they just keep sending us deals for us to say, lock up. This is good, but here's your actual number. They go back. What does that actually do? One, you can either walk away. Two, you could also look at it and say, you know what? I'm going to renegotiate or go deeper. Give me like a day or two. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. But at the end of the day, at least you're not buying a bad car, right? You're not buying a bad asset. So the ones that they take down, they're buying better because they're indirectly learning from us. We're almost like consulting them while construction managing, saying, hey, on this project, you didn't account. This is Mobile, Alabama. You didn't account for, cement blocks and cinder block footings that are manipulated and folded. You didn't account for mold and rust and asbestos and termites, and now your floor joists are jamming. The pictures don't show that. You need an extra $6,500. Now they learn on the next house they buy in Alabama, and they go, let me think about that real quick because I got to ask if there's floors that are sagging. Oh shit, there's floors that are sagging. Let me add 6,500. Then they come to us with a better budget. We just validate it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's incredibly insane that now the entire construction industry, and this could be consumers, mom and pops who want to just be like, I want to do my dream kitchen in my own home for my kids. Like it opened up a whole new door for support, right? Where we have architects that call us to help their client build. I've got container companies who do full container homes and warehouses and say, hey, my client doesn't know how to build these, but we can fabricate them, but they still need them delivered and built on site. I'm like, we'll handle it. So it has changed the industry like you wouldn't believe. And you damn right, I'm not gonna let anybody interfere with that shit because I know that the industry is moving towards virtual. I know that the construction industry in general is hurting when it comes to physical labor manpower. And the only thing that's going to help fill the void is technology. So being the first to market, which I love to be, is why we're doing what we're doing. And that's why I'm hitting it with the temperament that I have, because you got a long way to come to get me. And I know what our clients need because I've already worked with the investors.
Absolutely. Uh-oh, you muted.
So being the bridge, going
Okay.
back to the bridge. Am I muted?
Nope, you're good now. Go ahead.
It was just a call I was getting, but no. But like it goes back to what I was saying. Like when you look at me as a leader, look at the continuity that I'm sharing. I even said earlier on, like Tyler Perry said, I'm a bridge. This is part of being that bridge. Is the consistency and that continuity of I got to figure out the next play for the industry. I've got to figure out what's coming, what's hurting, what's working, what's not working. And I'm fearless. I don't mind taking the shot. I don't mind taking that shot. And that's kind of why I think the call center is going to be something unique. 12% per rehab. Let us put the budget together. You go in our CRM system. We will find the sales. We'll put together the material list. We'll put together the scopes of work and all that good stuff. You're a fly on the wall watching your project. Go buy more. Give them to us. Go buy more. That's your job. You go buy. We go flip. And that's a beautiful relationship. Consider the Rehab Depot your official construction partner that you never had. That's really what the call center has become. And it's incredible. And I still thank you and Antonio for being one of the first to join in on the call center, because what you guys have been doing is incredible, but that's not even how we're doing it anymore, because you allowed us to figure out what works and what doesn't. And as you know, There's a lot that didn't work. There's a lot of things that just weren't working. And I realized early on that stop work orders and rescuing rehabs is not the play.
Look,
If
Antonio
you don't use
said,
a rehab, if you don't use a rehab depot first, you're on your own.
Antonio said it got to be double if they have a stop work order.
No, we walk away. We say God bless, and call me on the next one.
But I think with any business that you create, there's going to be a trial and error. It's expected because you have so much in your head that has to come out. For one, the things that you haven't even pulled out everything that's in your head from our
No.
conversations. There's still more pieces missing from the rehab depot right now, from your call center that you have, that you envision, that you want to implement. So that takes time. That takes processing. It takes getting these people got so many different personalities. To have to deal with my personality is enough. And to add more to it, hey, that's already too much.
I believe that. Dealing with
so
you a big pain in the ass. God bless Antonio.
I'm the only one you want to talk to.
I'm just playing.
I know. But I think that is so important. No, so whatever you're doing, whatever you're getting ready to start, it's not going to be perfect coming out. Don't expect it to be perfect. Like, expect the trial and error. Expect to fail. So get over it. Like, you're going to fail, fall quickly, fall hard, fall forward, and keep it moving, because on the other side of that failure is when you're going to reap that success, is when you're going to see that growth, is when you're going to be able to maneuver and change some things. But if you don't start, you're going to always sit on the sideline saying, I've always been called to do it, but I never did it. I wish I did it back then.
Yeah.
Then was the time to do it. Like, there's never a perfect time to get started. You just got to do it. Like, Rowdy, to me, you exemplify quit the excuses. So, like, whenever there's an excuse, you're like, all right, we don't want to hear about the excuses. Let's talk about some actionable things we can do to make it work.
I'm telling you, it's literally, it's like two people sitting next to each other, and you both have one shot, one 3-point shot. I look at it and say, take the shot. Some people won't take the shot. And if you won't take the shot, you weren't meant to be the one to take the shot. Give me the rock. I'll take the shot. That's what it comes down to. Either you're going to take the shot or you're not. And at your age, I don't care who's listening to this, what age you are, it doesn't matter. But it matters in this sense. If you're, in my opinion, over 25 years old and you're listening to this call and you haven't taken the shot yet, the fuck is wrong with you? 2, if you're obviously over 25 years old and you're still scared to take the shot, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because this world is meant to be lived. No one's going to hand you anything. So as long as you want to go work for somebody, then you'll always belong to somebody. And that's the reality of how, and that's why there's Chiefs and there's Indians. The world needs both. It's okay, right? You got the queen bee and the worker bees. I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's so truthful. The people that rise to the top are the ones that don't see the people behind them. They just keep going. I'm climbing. If you come, come. If you ain't, fine. Like, I'm not going to judge you because you don't want to climb. I'm climbing. And anybody that reaches a certain level where I can finally look back and look down, if you're right next to me, I will help you, because I'm like, dude, you're like one of the few that came with me. That's what's missing in this fucking world, this society. These man, don't get me started. These little fucking boys these days, sad.
I'm excited for you, Rowdy. You're going to be in the place January 12th through 13th.
Oh, I'll be in the house. I'm going to be in the house.
Tell me. What's something you got cooking up your sleeve? Don't tell them everything, because they got to be in the place to be. Oh, we got to do the raffle. Okay, we got to do the raffle. I'm not even prepared for the raffle. All right, so we got to bring you on. We got to do live one day this week. We're just gonna go on live for 15 minutes.
After today, I'm good. We do tomorrow. We do Friday. I'm good. Just let me know.
Okay. So we'll come on for 15 minutes, because everybody who has purchased the ticket, I know you wanted to upgrade them to VIP.
Let's go.
So it's gonna be one person is gonna win the raffle. But I haven't even pulled a list to get everybody. So I'll pull the list. I totally forgot. I dropped the ball on that. I'm sorry. We'll do the raffle. We'll come on. We'll plan it. Maybe on Friday or Saturday, 15 minutes, and spin the wheel. Um, what you got cooking up your sleeve for this conference? I know you got some up your sleeve. What you got up your sleeve? You always got something up your sleeves.
So I think this mode, I think 2024 is about showing people. I think there's a lot of stress with investors. They think they should think further and beyond, yes. But I think again, be realistic. That's the theme of 2024 is be realistic. So my thought process is everybody wants to flip 100 houses. Truly don't really know what it takes to flip 100 houses, right? I flipped thousands. And as you can see, they're finally coming in, finally coming in. See that? It's finally going back. Feel me? Like shit's real. So you got to be careful what you wish for. But why not do 100 flips in your entire lifetime or career, but profit 40 to 50% each time? I think the numbers are reversed. I think people are looking at volume when you should be looking at just maximizing every single flip. That's going to be the topic of January.
Let's go. I'm excited. Let's freaking go. You guys,
I'm
if you
coming
got
down in a
some
minute.
questions for Rowdy, drop it in the chat. You guys have been doing a really good job dropping in the chat. Tony, what did Tanya just put? They don't know what it takes to do 10 houses. Right.
Bro,
Right.
stop lying. They don't know what it takes to do one.
Facts.
One. And if you've done one and you're watching and listening, you already know that what that first one was like for you. It was a nightmare.
Nightmare.
And any expectation you had went out the window.
Absolutely.
It's all about requirements now. It's all about requirements now. It's not about expectations. It's about this is how I'm going to live my life and how I'm going to run my business, period.
Absolutely. All right. So I got a question. It says,
Yeah.
I hope this isn't off topic, but they got 3 questions. 1.
Of course, Carl's got 3 questions.
Do you recommend hiring a GC and managing him or her?
Yes, if you know how to manage them.
If you know how to, let's talk about that real quick, because
if you're gonna
most
hire,
of the time
if you're
they're
gonna hire
just
a
gonna
GC,
hire them and expect them to do it. What's managing a GC?
But I'll put it this way: if you're gonna hire the GC, they report to who? Carl Randall. Carl Randall needs to be who? The boss. So in essence, for you to be able to run a smaller GC, you need to operate as a GC, which really means be a paper GC.
That's right. So at that point, you are an A contractor. You need to have your crap together, make sure all your paperwork is in place, but you can't manage something you don't know how to manage. So you need to figure out what managing looks like. What's the time frame it's going to take? How much money it's going to take? Because otherwise, you're not managing them. You're letting them manage themselves.
100. I know where you learned that from. Next.
I know where I learned it from too. In Chicago, baby. How do you keep the scope of work from getting too detailed?
No such thing. The more detailed, the better. No such thing.
So yeah, it needs to be detailed.
Saves money and time.
Yeah, because the more vague it is, the more change orders are gonna come. You're just asking for change orders.
Correct.
I feel like I'm getting quizzed to see if my coach taught me right.
No, you right on the money. This is good. I say one statement, you finish it. I like this.
All right. The third question is, should I just use the call center? I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Carl, if you want to do 1 or 2 a year, do it yourself. You want to do 50 a year? Call me. Every single flip any investor should ever do, ever now, anywhere in the country, should be using our call center because it's the easiest thing. It's like buying bullets for your gun, bro. Like, we're here. Like, why wouldn't you use us? It's like going to Home Depot for product. Like, we're here. Why wouldn't you use us? Instead of us really, really focusing on teaching it, we're just doing it for you now. And you're going to learn indirectly anyway. So why wouldn't you use us?
Absolutely. All right. Candace said, so how does that shatter the work smarter, not harder mindset that tells us one client paying $10K as opposed to 10 clients at $1K? I think this was back when you were talking about the different coaching programs
Mm.
and having enough money when it comes to investing and coaching?
I truly believe. It, let me put it to you this way, and it's a good question, Candace. I truly believe, like the way social media is now, you can almost get so much information now. I mean, there's so much. When people go, "Oh, I got the secret sauce," or here's the secret, 59.99 kind of shit, right? They might tell you one thing that you didn't know that took them 10 years to figure out. One thing, maybe, but the basics are out everywhere around you. So the valuation of 10,000 versus 1,000 really doesn't matter to me. It's kind of irrelevant. I think right now you have so many people out there in your network, and clearly, if you're on this call, you're in the right place. My point is, even being on this call, you've got a resource, right? You want me to teach you something? I'm not charging you 10,000 or 1,000. A couple $100 online. That's my point. So it depends on how you want to look at spending the money you have. There's no valuation to what somebody wants to charge you. That's what they think they're worth. I could look at 10 different gurus and be like, they ain't worth shit. That's cool. But I'm not going to disrespect what they're trying to do. What I will disrespect is if they haven't done half the shit that they're trying to sell. That we have a problem with. And I'll put them on blast tomorrow. But you need to evaluate where you want to spend that money. $10,000 client versus $1,000 client. I evaluate time. I equate time to value. And time can be the time you're going to spend with somebody as a coach or being coached, or the time you've already put into your craft. Make sense?
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Um, it's not so much, you can get information from anywhere, like YouTube University, you can get information from anywhere, but what you can't get is access. So if you're paying for something, I think you should be paying for that access, paying to be able to call them, talk to them. When you come into a bind, like I want to be able to call Rowdy and say, Rowdy, I just messed up. I don't know where to go. I need you to help me. So,
No, that's exactly what we do now. Like that really, when it comes to like the one-on-one coaching, that's actually $2,500 out the door, and you're basically getting about 8 hours of calls with me, and they're live like this on Zoom or whatever. And I'm like, let's talk about what you're doing, because
mhm,
construction is so uniquely different than, again, trying to teach um probate or something like that, right? Where there's a lot of material to read. Construction is bring your project to the call. Let's show me
and
the
let's
pictures, send me the
dissect it.
video. Let me see your budget. Let me see your scope of work. Yeah, let's dissect it. Let me see who are your subs. Do you have? I can actually apply everything that you should have, and I can question you, and you can tell me if it's working or not working, kind of thing. So that's why I was saying, hey, this might be a good thing. Um, that's why I price it based on the time. And I always say, listen, 8 hours with me is going to save you 50 G's flat out. So we just put a time evaluation on it, and we do it very similar to like legal. Like lawyers usually charge you 250 an hour. That's basically what we charge, like 250 an hour. How many hours you want? And it usually comes out to about 25 hours in total, or $2,500 in total of hours, which is like 8. So it's not bad at all. And I think the time equated, because of the industry we're in, is different than going to learn about wholesaling or whatnot, because we're basically trying to get you through a project. Because most of the people that call us for that 20, for those 25, that $25 fee, they've got a project they're struggling with. And I'm like, let's talk about it. And they send me the files. I'm dissecting it. We're having this call. And we're going through it. I'm like, did you do this? No. Okay, that could be a problem. Let's go further. And they're learning on the fly, and that's okay. So that's kind of why we categorize our stuff a little bit differently. And that's because we're already unique in the space where everything we teach is construction related.
Hmm. Absolutely. All right, Rowdy. I want to first tell you thank you because you didn't have to. I know today was a very tough day. So I want to first tell you thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you and I appreciate you so much.
No,
Can
no
you
problem.
tell them, other than coming to the conference, how can they reach out to you? How can they learn more about Rowdy?
Just text me 847-899-5713.
Don't give people your cell phone number. I can only have your cell phone number. Wait a minute. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
847-899-5713. Again, 847-899-5713. Just text me, or my email is simple, Ryan@therehabdepot.com, Ryan@therehabdepot.com, or follow me on social, man. IG's blowing up. Rotty flipped it. Rotty flipped it. Rotty flipped it. Pretty easy.
Let's go. Carl said, "Thank you, Rowdy. You're absolutely welcome."
You're welcome, Carl. Anytime, man.
All right, go tend to your family. I
I
appreciate you.
will. I will.
All right,
Appreciate you guys.
see
Thank
you
you.
later.
See you later. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Listen, it's Keith Everett, Real Estate Diddy. I'm right here at the Simple Sexy Flipping Conference. I gave 10 ways on how to find off-market properties. If you're somebody trying to learn how to use the bank, find private money lenders, and knowing how you can fund the properties, you need to be here.
I would definitely recommend this event to anybody, especially if you're looking to get started in this business, because sometimes you just don't know where to go, and sometimes you don't know how to get started, and sometimes it could be the reverse. You got the motivation, but you don't have the education, or you have the education, you don't have the motivation. So sometimes it's being in certain rooms with certain people that'll kind of uplift you or inspire you or get you moving, get you thinking. But more importantly, this is the kind of room you want to be in, especially if you're a newbie.